What's up, my New World friends? Long time no see. Haven't played the game much, but with Season 9 dropping, I figured I'd jump back in. And I've seen there's some new players coming back into the game, so I thought I'd do a short series on some of my favorite low-level gold farms. All these will be catered toward players that are returning or new, so around the level 10 to 20 area. And they will concentrate on mainly some farming tips and tricks and areas to farm in. And you can make some gold and hone your skills at the same time. So stay tuned and we'll get started with the first spot. Keeping it low level friendly, the first spot is in Monarch's Bluffs. It's the spot where the ship drops you off. As soon as you get off the ship, grab some flint and sticks and then craft a set of tools at the campfire, and here we go. So in this spot, like I said, as soon as you get off the ship, grab yourself a bunch of 5 to be exact sticks or green wood from the sticks on the ground and flint, and then you can, as soon as you get to the campfire, you can craft your set of starting tools. So your sickle, your hatchet, your pickaxe, etc., skinning knife. And in this area, we're going to target the banana trees, so we get some green wood, which doesn't really sell for anything, but you can use that to level up your woodworking skill. And then also you're going to get bananas, which are selling for 3 to 4 gold on most servers right now. So we're going to grab those. Then there's also going to be herbs you're going to get. So you're going to get the hyssop, which is around 0.7 gold each. Then you might get some other herbs that can be used in cooking recipes. You're going to skip things like the regular trees and such. And then the other thing that you'll be targeting is you're going to be looking for some iron nodes up on the cliffs. If you do find a few of those, it'll be good for your smelting skill ups. And you can also sell that. All the low level resources usually sell the best because they're actually the most boring to farm. But good thing about that is you can watch TV while you're doing it. It's a good way to level up early in the game just by gaining aptitude levels in your logging, mining, harvesting, etc. You'll gain experience points and skill up that way. So the other main thing is going to be the borers. So they pop really fast here. I didn't want to stay here too long because being a higher level, I didn't want to ruin the experience for lower level players. But you get probably 10 to 15 rawhide per, and the meat that you can actually turn into your first food rations if you like, or you can just make the food rations to get territory standing points. That's a good way early game to start with your territory standing. So in this area, bananas, rawhide, hyssop, herbs, and greenwood are going to be the resources you target. So let's move on to the second area. Okay, for spot number 2, we're going to head to the border of Monarch's Bluff, and you can either get there with the Wild's Gateway Port Shrine, or you can actually come from the Monarch's Bluff settlement and just go a little bit northeast. It's the River Seat area of Windsward. Okay, when we get to the area of Windsward known as the River Seat, this is going to be a river that snakes up through there. Going to want to target mainly, you're going to do bison and wild boar. The bison are lower level, so you're going to skin those. They're like around level 10 to 15, just depends. And you're going to get like 40 rawhide for that, so it's nice. And then a couple of the game meat as well. Like I said, you're basically just going to head around this river here. The boars, they're a little higher level. They're like level 23 or so you got to be really careful with those. But then also something you're going to need for your Arcana skill, there's boorish cobs and briars, and they grow all along the riverbank, so you're going to want to harvest some of those while you're there as well. Then another resource that there's going to be plenty of is going to be hemp. And if you're getting the hemp, you're probably going to get your your harvesting level up to 50. You'll actually probably get your skinning level to 50 as well here. But once you get your harvesting level up, you can get these, the elemental motes from these things, the river crests here. So like I said, basically in this area, hit the boar, the bison. The boar are going to be a little higher level, so they're going to be a little harder to kill. You're going to do those, and you're going to hit the hemp, and you're going to hit the bulrush cobs and the briars. So it's an excellent way to make some gold and level up your skills. In this area, you can make 2,000 to 3,000 gold in an hour as a low-level player, which is actually a very large amount for a low-level new player. So let's move on to spot number 3. All right, spot number 3 we're going to head to is in Windsward. It's in the center of Windsward. Basically, you can get there from Monarch's Bluff if you want. It's going to be called the Verdant Crown. You go to the Dead Man's Shrine and you can travel east. Okay, so the area for spot 3 that we're going to be heading to is in the Verdant Crown, like I said, in Windsward. It's going to be Lodestone's lair. When we get there, there's going to be tons of trees that have beeswax or honey, which you're going to need for cooking and to level up furnishing later. There'll be a lot of the elemental plants around, like the Fire Glory flowers. There's the the shock bulbs for the air motes. And there's also tons of the stags and the does. Whenever you harvest them, you're going to get some venison. Then you're going to get like 30 rawhide or so. And then there's also bear that you're going to be killing. Like I said, there's one of the trees there on the left when we ran up. So we're going to harvest those. This area you can get 2, 3, maybe even 4,000 gold if there's nobody around. There's also some iron ore nodes up on top of the ledges, and you can run inside the cave and kill a bear inside of there. When the game first came out, a little bit of trivia, it was actually so glitched that it would spawn more and more when there were more people there. So like 10 or 15, 20 people would go in that cave, and as soon as you killed it, it would just spawn instantly, and people would skin it and flood the market with rawhide at the same time, but then they would really get their levels up. So yeah, you get honey and beeswax from those trees, plenty of elemental motes, bear, and the stags and does will be your main source of the rawhide. So excellent stuff to get for low level, and sells really well on the trading post as well. So let's move on to spot number 4 and 5, which are 2 spots in one. And I think they're probably the best and the most gold that you could possibly make at a low level, at least in my experience. Spots 4 and 5, we're going to head to Windsward and to the Elder Gate Shrine. There's going to be 2 spots here in Dankfur Hollow. So basically, we're just going to go east to west from Dankfur Hollow, and we're going to kill bears, and we're going to kill a lot of bucks and lynx in order to get tons and tons of rawhide. And there's some other stuff there at the same time. So let's check it out. Okay, so as soon as we jump off of the teleport shrine, we're basically going to head to the border of Windsward and the Elysian Wilds expansion. Now, you're not going to be able to run in there, and if you try to, it'll kill you because you have to be a certain level and finish a quest. But as soon as you do that, you see the border there. There's a ton of stags and does, and they're dropping 35, 40 rawhide a piece. And there's also lynx. You can just pretty much just run around here if you want to farm rawhide. I never did a video like on my rawhide videos. I never did put this spot on there, but it is an excellent spot. So you're at least going to get 30 a pop, and they'll drop some other items and stuff as well. You have to also remember that you may get some equipment while you're farming these things too, so you can pick up some weapons or armor so you don't have to buy it from the trading post. It's also going to be a bunch of these river crests for the water moats that are going to be along the border. Like I said, tons of stags and does. There are also going to be lynx, and then there's also a cave with some bears in it. So for this spot, you're mainly going to be targeting rawhide and any special items that drop from the skinning of the animals, the lynx, and you can get 4,000 or 5,000 rawhide even as a low level player here. So it's a really good spot for higher level players. Like you probably pop 8,000 rawhide or so in an hour, which is pretty good gold and awesome for your skill ups. So like I said, hit the lynx, the stags, the doe, and the elemental motes right here. And there's also fire glories, but like you can see on this border, there's tons and tons of animals to skin. So now we're going to move on to spot number 5, which is from the same port. We're just going to head the opposite direction to the west, and it's part of Dankfur Hollow where there's just tons and tons of wolves to pop. I apologize for the misspeak. I said wolves instead of wolves, first off, but also meant to run east from the spot where you were farming there. So where the Elder Gate is, run east, not west. Because if you run west, you'll run back into Monarch's Bluff area into some shipyards. But if you run east toward the Elder Gate, you'll see a picture of a bear there on the map. You go up on the ledges here, there's some iron ore. And then if you need crafting regions, there's a little section here that has some mobs and 5 or 6 treasure chests, like a little barracks type area. And you can get some crafting supplies from regions. And right now those are kind of like the thing that holds people back. They're 0.7 to 1 gold each, especially for the obsidian flux or the age tannin, because those seem to be the 2 most popular crafts. The wire weave's not too bad of a price. And then of course the solvent doesn't cost much at all. But if you get that, you can use it for your furnishing to use with green wood and make ash. But there's also silver veins here, iron ore nodes. You'll get the crafting regents. You drop down off of this ledge here. There's a bunch of wordwood trees. If your logging is up to 100, which it's possible if you use one of my earlier spots and you chopped enough banana trees down, you probably could get that up. So yeah, once you get down there, you're gonna run around through these crags here and hit that. Like I said, there's the wordwood. And then at the very bottom, there are tons of wolves. Now, they don't drop a lot. They drop 10 or 12 rawhide each. And with a proficiency booster, it's around 14. Don't let it be deceiving, though, because they're super easy kill. They're like level 9, basically. Even at a low level, you'll hit it twice and it'll die. And there are tons of them. They look like they're sleeping. And you just kind of walk up on them, and there'll be tons of them. There's like 40 or 50 wolves down there. So it's an excellent spot. Let me show you where those wolves are. X out of this area here where these wordwood trees are. So you're gonna run up to the north there from that map around these rocks, and I'll show you where the wolves are. So essentially, you're just gonna run north from where that bear was on the map, where those redwood trees were. And like I said, they look like they're just laying there. They don't really bother you, but like, see, right there's one, two. To the left, there was a third one, and they're all just kind of like right there in that little spot. And there are tons and tons of them in here. Like I said, there's like probably like 40 wolves like right there. I even missed one. There's another one to the left there. They just kind of like sit there. It's like, and it's weird. And they seem like they repop really fast for some reason. I didn't tom them. Like it's not the normal, it doesn't seem like it's the normal 5 minute or so repop. It seems like every couple minutes they repop. Because I essentially just keep running around here. And even though they don't drop a lot, there's just so many of them. Like right there, I was getting 15 at higher level, but at low level, you're probably going to get around 12. So, but like I said, if there's like 30, 40 of them in that area, you can just keep running circles around and getting some iron ore and silver nodes if you run up on those cliffs if you want to. There's also some iron ore right there in the field when I look to the left. So, and every once in a while, like that, you'll get a vial of suspended azoth, which is good for using for crafting later because you'll need to replenish it like when you make gypsum orb crafts for the matrix and stuff, the armor and the jewelry matrix, weapon matrix. You'll need to have a lot of the suspended days off to craft those, and those are good money makers later. There's also turkeys, and forgot about that. Like if you ever see turkeys, the feathers aren't worth anything. The eggs are pretty cheap, but you should always kill them because you'll get sometimes a blue or green poultry, and that's worth a good bit. And rabbits as well. If you get a sumptuous rabbit, that can be up to 80 gold or so per server. So thanks for watching. I hope this video helped everybody out.